Hello and welcome to our problem creation task. I'm Victoria Ryan.
And I'm Allison Saunders. So, as you can see, here is our problem, and we would like you to pause the video now and read it carefully and take any information you need from it.
Please attempt to solve the problem before viewing our possible solutions. For the first solution, we start with determining the height of Alice. Using the height of the rabbit, we determine that the length of Alice's hand and wrist is the same length as the rabbit. 2/3 of the length of the arm and wrist is 40 centimeters, and the distance from the fingertip to the palm of the wrist. Using the length of the average hand as 17 2/10 centimeters long, we compare the length of Alice's hand to the average hand. It is 2 35/100 larger. Thus, we multiply the average female height by 2 35/100 to get Alice's height. Next, we determine the dimensions of the room. Please pause at any time to review the assumptions and calculations. To determine the measurements of the house, we use the length of Alice's hand and arm. Comparing my hand length and forearm length, we determine that my hand is the average length, and this is the same as the length of a pen. Then we use these measurements to analyze Alice's hand length and forearm length. Please pause to review this diagram as it explains the measurements compared to the images provided in the novel. Alice's hand is the same length as the window, and using this we can determine that her arm length determines how high the house is from the outside. We know that the inside of the house is therefore 120 centimeters tall, and we assume that the room is a perfect cube, so it is 120 centimeters by 120 centimeters and 120 centimeters. Please review our proof of the equation at your leisure.
Here's another version of how you could go about solving this problem. So it is stated in the question that the rabbit is 60 centimeters tall, and it is in his room that Alice finds herself in. So it is safe to assume, based on my assumptions, that the height of the room would be double the rabbit's height from the tip of his ears to the point of his toes, meaning that the height of the room could be calculated to be 120 centimeters. My second assumption comes from that I assume the room is a cube, therefore all dimensions would be the same. So if I calculated that the height was 120 centimeters, that would mean the width and the length are both 120 centimeters as well. Pause the video if you feel like you need more clarification. Now comparing the room size of the rabbit to that of the floor tiles, it can be said that the rabbit's room is 30 centimeters greater in every dimension. So I had used floor tiles on the floor and calculated that each tile was 30 centimeters in length, and because there was 3, that would make it 90 centimeters by 90 centimeters. The rabbit's room was 120 centimeters, so the difference is 30 centimeters, meaning the rabbit's room is actually 1.333,000 times bigger than my model. I will use this magic number, if you will, to calculate Alice's height based on that, and based on the ratio that I've represented at the bottom, being that the rabbit's house to the floor space in my model represents 1.333 to 1, and 1 being my model. Just another representation of how my model reflects the model of that of Alice in Wonderland. So using this ratio, we can find the height of Alice. So the ratio from before, so Wonderland to real life model. Then we do Wonderland to real life model, but we do Alice's height to my height, which I calculated to be 172 centimeters. Then you combine those two ratios, and it works out to be 229,333,000 centimeters. Therefore, based on my calculations and assumptions, Alice's height at the moment she is scrunched in the room is 229.33 hundredths centimeters. Pause if you need clarification. Lastly, we did receive a lot of feedback on our problem, which changed the way we thought about the problem as well as how we went about going to do it. So pause the video to go through our feedback, as we did take all of our feedback into consideration.